precious little grandbabies. I love all of you so much, and I'm going to read you a story tonight, if that's okay. I'm going to read you a story called The Lupine Lady. It's actually not called that. It's called Miss Rumphius, but she's the Lupine Lady. So I'm going to read this story to you today, okay? It's one of my favorites. The Lupine Lady lives in a small house overlooking the sea. In between the rocks and around her house grow blue and purple and rose-colored flowers. The Lupine Lady is little and old, but she has not always been that way. I know. She's my great aunt, and she told me so. Once upon a time, she was a little girl named Alice, and she lived in a city by the sea. From the front stoop, she could see the wharves and the bristling mass of tall ships. And many years ago, her grandfather had come to America on one of those large ships. There's the picture. Can you see the picture? I was hoping I could switch it so you could see it, but I can't. Now he worked in a shop at the bottom of the house, making figureheads for the prows of ships and carving Indians out of wood to put in front of cigar shops. For Alice's grandfather was an artist. He painted pictures, too, of sailing ships and places across the sea. He was very busy. Alice helped him put in the skies. Can you see? The pictures are pretty in this book, so I want you to see them, too. Maybe I should turn it around. It's too late. I can't. In the evenings, Alice sat on her grandfather's knee and listened to him tell stories of faraway places. When he finished, Alice would say, "When I grow up, I too will go to faraway places. And when I grow old, I too will live beside the sea." "This is all very well, little Alice," said her grandfather, "but there's a third thing you must do." "What is that?" asked Alice. "You must do something to make the world more beautiful," said her grandfather. "All right," said Alice, but she did not know what that could be. In the meantime, Alice got up and washed her face and ate porridge for breakfast and went to school and came home and did her homework, and pretty soon she was grown up. Sorry. Then my great aunt Alice set out to do the 3 things that she had told her grandfather she would do. She left home, and she went to live in another city far from the sea and the salt air. She worked in a library, dusting books and keeping them from getting mixed up, and helping people find the ones they wanted. Some of the books told her about faraway places. People called her Miss Rumphius now. Sometimes she went to the conservatory in the middle of the park, and when she stepped inside on a wintry day, the moist air wrapped itself around her, and the sweet smell of jasmine filled her nose. "It's almost like a tropical isle," said Miss Rumphius, "but not quite." So Miss Rumphius went to a real tropical island where people kept cockatoos and monkeys as pets. She walked along the beaches picking up beautiful shells, and one day she met the Bapa Raja, king of the fishing village. "You must be tired," he said. "Come to my house and rest." So Miss Rumphius went in and met the Bapa Raja's wife, and the Bapa Raja himself fetched a green coconut and cut a slice off the top so Miss Rumphius could drink the coconut water inside. Before she left, the Bapa Raja gave her a beautiful mother-of-pearl shell on which she had painted a bird of paradise and the words, "You will always remain in my heart." "You will always remain in mine, too," said Miss Rumphius. That's the picture. My great aunt, Miss Alice Rumphius, climbed a tall mountain where the snow never melted, and she went through jungles and across deserts, and she saw lions playing and kangaroos jumping, and everywhere she went she made friends that she would never forget. And finally she came to the land of the lotus eaters, and there, getting off a camel, she hurt her back. "What a foolish thing to do," said Miss Rumphius. "Well, I have certainly seen faraway places. Maybe it's time to find my place by the sea." And it was, and she did. There she is. Can you see her on the camel? There's Miss Rumphius on the camel. I went to a place that looked like this last year. From her porch on the new house, Miss Rumphius watched the sun come up, and she watched it across the heavens and sparkle on the water, and she saw it set in all its glory. She started a little garden among the rocks that surrounded her house. She planted a few flower seeds in the stony ground. Miss Rumphius was almost perfectly happy. "But there's still one more thing I have to do," she said. "I have to do something to make the world more beautiful." But what? The world was already pretty nice, she thought, looking out over the ocean. There's her house in the ocean. After a hard winter, spring came, and Miss Rumphius was feeling much better. Now she could take walks again, and one afternoon she got up and started to go over the hill where she had not been in a long time. "I don't believe my eyes," she cried when she got to the top, for there, on the other side of the hill, was a large patch of blue and purple and rose-colored lupines. "It was the wind," she said, and she knelt in delight. "It was the wind that brought the seeds from my garden here, and the birds must have helped." Miss Rumphius had a wonderful idea. There she is, looking at the flowers. Aren't they beautiful? Those are lupine. She hurried home and got her seed catalogs, and she went off to the very best seed house for 5 bushels of lupine seeds. That summer, Miss Rumphius, her pockets full of seeds, wandered over the fields and the headlands, sowing lupines. She scattered the seeds along the highways and down the country lanes. She flung handfuls of them around schoolyards and in the back of the church. She tossed them into the hollows and along stone walls. Her back didn't hurt her at all anymore now, but now some people called her that crazy old lady. There she is. Look, she has a cat. And there's some children fishing. And there she is some more. There she goes. The next spring, when the lupines were everywhere, fields and hillsides were covered with blue and purple and rose-colored flowers. They bloomed along the highways and down the lanes. Bright patches lay around the schoolhouse and the back of the church. Down in the hollows and along the stone walls grew beautiful flowers. Miss Rumphius had done the third most difficult thing of all. What was it that she did? What was the third most difficult thing? Do you know? My great Aunt Alice, Miss Rumphius, is very old now. Hang on, I want to make sure I didn't skip a page. Nope, I didn't. My great Aunt Alice, Miss Rumphius, is very old now. Her hair is very white. Every year there are more and more lupines, and now they call her the Lupine Lady. Sometimes my friends stand with me outside her gate, curious to see the old lady who planted all the fields of lupines. When she invites us in, they come slowly. They think she is the oldest woman in the world. Often she tells stories of faraway places. When I grow up, I tell her, I too will go to faraway places and come home to live by the sea. That's all very well, little Alice, she says, but there's a third thing you must do. What is that, I ask? You must do something to make the world more beautiful. And I say, all right. There she is, with all of the little children. I do not know what that will be yet. And that's it. That's the end of the story. You know, there's lots of things that you can do to make the world more beautiful. You can plant flowers. You can be kind. You can help people who need help or animals who need help. There's so many things you can do. You can create art. You can help heal people. You can grow food. All of those things make the world more beautiful. But do you know what you do to make the world more beautiful for me? You be you. Because I love you so much that you've made my world a much more beautiful place. I love you.